Hey, welcome back to Milton Daily Homes. Chuck here. We had the great pleasure yesterday of going to the 10-year anniversary party of a local business called Pendleton Translations. So Brian and Melissa, congratulations on a wonderful 10 years. And if you're looking for translation services, whether it's a document or whether it's a live event where you need a translator, they are definitely into concierge service and I think share a lot of the same values that we do in business. So very honored to know them, and it was a great party. They actually had a champagne fairy that was swinging from the ceiling. It was pretty cool. Let's get started with today's list. I learned a lesson many years ago from a marketing guru by the name of Gary Halbert, and Gary said that what you need more than anything else. I mean, it's great in business and in marketing to have a product that does what it says it's going to do, and it's lovely and desirable and everything else. A sales pitch, it's great to have a way of conveying the message of how it benefits someone. But the most important thing is a starving crowd. And you think about a nightclub getting out at 2 a.m. and the hot dog stand right beside that nightclub doesn't need to have the best hot dogs in the city, doesn't need to have the fanciest toppings, because what you have is you have a starving crowd. And what I mean by that, as it relates to this home on Fowles, is there's nothing freehold in this price range. There's a scarcity of supply. I mean, nothing's there until you hit $399, and the one on McDowell is taking offers, I think, today or tomorrow, so that probably go pretty soon. But really good price point. We've seen homes that are 200 square feet smaller than this one sell for more than this. I sold a 1,200 square foot home for $397, like recently, like in the last month or so. So it's not super fancy inside, but that's the equivalent of the hot dog vendor and the toppings. You don't need the fanciest finishes because they put it at a really attractive price with absolutely zero competition. And they're going to sell this one fast. They put an open house for Saturday from 2 to 4. It'll be gone before then for sure. Great views of the escarpment. Fowles is a nice street. There's a tennis court right at the end. There's a park here. So it's got a good location too. I'm all about this one. It's 2 bedrooms, and then there's 2 full bathrooms up on the top floor. Second floor is all your main living area, and then the main floor even has a little small den there that you could have an office or a little exercise area or any number of things. It's great. Not much more I can say. Actually, one more thing to say on that previous listing. It's 1,356 square feet, not 1,400. So they rounded up a bit. Fitzgerald Crescent is $449,900. I look at this price and think if they had to put it at $450,000, it would have offered the advantage of a double bracket. What I mean by that is if someone started their search at $450,000, they wouldn't even know this one existed. But if this one was priced at $450,000, it would appeal to that audience, plus the audience that's looking, let's say, from $400,000 to $450,000, which it would have appeared in anyway. But they get all that bonus exposure by putting $100 on. And so it's always a good idea to double bracket your price, even if you're considering $499. The new way of thinking now in real estate is put it at $500,000 and reap the benefits of both price ranges. We've been talking about that for years, and it's just started to catch on as some agents start to realize how people actually search for homes, which is online, using price ranges. This one's going to sell pretty quick. I mean, it's a good townhouse, 3-bedroom, 3-washroom, plus a finished basement, plus it has green space behind. And it's probably 15 feet deeper than the average Mattamy lot too. So it's got a lot of things going for it. Dempsey neighborhood, great schools, close to the GO train, the leisure center, the library, all the shopping, 401. Pick of the day right here. Now, not far from the one on Fitzgerald is this one on Duncan Lane. And so it's $455,000. It's got some granite counters. And I believe this part of Duncan Lane faces the train tracks. Now, I look at the next one here on Swindale, further away from the train tracks, listed $4,000 higher, but it's a better location. They're not holding back on offers, similar finishes. That looks like it needs something up above here. It looks like it needs a mantle. I put like a nice barn board, one of those thick pieces of wood right there, and it's all wired up for TV above. Bit of a smaller kitchen here, but I guess head to head, if I'm looking at the second place to Fitzgerald, I'd probably take this one over the one on Duncan facing train tracks. I know people buy right by the train tracks, and it doesn't bother them. Not my thing. So I go with this one on Swindale for the second choice. Now, when you think of bungalows, most people think that of two locations in town. Either you're buying something old, 50s and 60s, built on a larger lot. You think about Dorset Park, or some of the streets like Anne or Robinwood, or some of the stuff in Bronte Meadows, Old Milton. There's also some new homes. There's some on Stewart. This one on Allen Crescent was a unique little development. Mattamy put all these bungalows on the same street, and 584-9, probably not my favorite location, because you've got James Snow here, you've got the Dairy Green Business Park future development that's going to happen here. It sounds like that's not going to be much of an eyesore, but it is commercial industrial on the other side of this road here. And as James Snow starts to connect with Neagawa Parkway and Oakville, it's gonna be a relatively high traffic street. So even more so than it is now. Pie-shaped lot, which I don't know really has a huge effect for the target audience for something like this, which would be someone probably in the 50 plus range. It's one bedroom on the main floor, and then two downstairs in the basement. They have one full bathroom upstairs, one full downstairs. So it's set up well. Ceilings are high down in the basement. There's your pie-shaped wider lot. You can see the hydro wires for James Snow. You know, a lot of finished space here. I think they priced it right on. We just sold a 2-bedroom in Drury Park at $575. And this one has the bonus of having a fully finished basement here too. So I think the size of the lot and backing onto James Snow probably cancels each other out in terms of value. They should do well. I think they're holding back on offers until tomorrow night. If you want to see it, let us know. So I look at something like this on Woodward at $819. Even the patterned concrete outside, probably 10 grand to do that minimum. And you go inside and it's got kind of a bleached colored hardwood floor. The cabinets are a bit lighter, so they've put some money into it, the granite counters, but I could see some buyers saying, well, I don't like the white appliances, or I don't like the lighter colored floors or kitchen, bidet, you know. But even the tile, like it's a little bit more traditional. It's not as kind of modern and contemporary, which seems like if you look at the home on Alexander in today's list, that's an example of what I would say most buyers are looking for in today's market. Now, you only need one buyer, but you know, this one on paper, 5,000 square feet of living space, same great Dempsey neighborhood as Fitzgerald, but it looks good on paper. It's just a question of whether or not the inside, the stuff that you could fix at a cost, is going to appeal to a buyer, because the other stuff makes a lot of sense. You also see this on Hartley too. Hartley has like some dark crown moldings, and it's got some stone around the staircase. A little bit different than what you see, you know, in the safe zone. And so what happens is you start to narrow your audience down. That's all that happens. So like I said, you just need one buyer, but it can take longer with these homes because it's not in the fat bell curve in terms of appeal. It's something that's a little more niche and a little different than usual. We love different. In real estate, you have to be careful that you don't fall too far off the beaten path, because it ceases really to become someone's house as soon as they decide to sell it. It's now the buyer's house, in the sense that they're trying to appeal to the widest possible range of buyers. It's just how it goes. How you live in it, how you sell a home is totally different. Now, 21 Victoria just slashed their price under $1 million, 60 by 185 foot lot. Arguably, at least for me anyway, one of the best streets in Milton. Absolutely adorable, big mature trees, a lot of century homes. It's very impressive. This one has great curb appeal. I just helped the neighbors move in. Congratulations to Martin and Kata. And so you're going to get good neighbors on the right-hand side. A couple things transition-wise in the neighborhood. You've got Bronte is going to be widening. This is the third house in from Bronte. And then you also have the Robertson plant behind. You've got nice coverage in the back with trees, but there's a little bit of an uncertain future with what's going to happen with the old Robertson plant. The other thing that happens under $1 million is your financing changes, right? So anything over $1 million, anything in 7 figures, you gotta put 20% down. That's just how it works. No insurance exists for homes. No, there is house insurance, but insured lenders need 20% above $1 million. You could put 5% down at $999. You can't do that at $1,050,000 or $1 million, whatever they were listed at before. So architecturally, very, very nice home. And I could still see somebody coming into this place and calculating the size of the check they're going to need to just kind of modernize, renovate, improve this particular home. So it does look like it has a great floor plan. It's got an amazing yard, amazing location. Some of the features inside are probably going to get ripped out and redone by the next buyer. So anyway, I think that it was a smart move to put it under $1 million. And the last one in the list, 351 to 353 Main. They put this in residential, but it's really, it's much more commercial. You have 2 business locations downstairs, and then it looks like you've got 3 residential units. And so really when you look at the numbers on something like this, now I put this together in a little spreadsheet. I figure, you're probably renting a 3-bedroom apartment for about $1,400. The commercial spaces are $1,400. This could be drastically different, but just kind of working through, hey, does it even make sense to inquire further about it? So I put, you're making $7,000 a month on this in terms of income, right? So rent per unit, $14 for all 5 units. Let's just say you could get it for $1.25. Need $250 down payment plus closing costs. So your net revenue after you put in vacancy allowance, because smart investors know that you're not going to get rent every month from every unit. There's vacancies, there's bounced checks, there's all kinds of stuff. So we put a 5%. 1 in 20 months, you're not getting paid for whatever you have. So the net revenue after that calculation looks at just under $80,000. Now, when we look at expenses, it doesn't say the property tax. I'm guessing it's $8,000. Your insurance, probably $1,000 per unit per year. Repairs and maintenance, we usually put about 1% of the value per year. So I put a little less than that at $10,000. That's something that you want to have probably an engineer or a very, very good home inspector come in and give you a good sense of what's on the horizon for fix-ups and improvements to the building. So you add all that stuff up, you look at the net income, which will give you your cap rate, which is capitalization. How quick are you going to get your initial investment back out of this particular home? And I put a mortgage rate of 3%. It's probably going to be higher. It's probably more commercial financing. And so it spits out 88 cents a month in this calculation. Now, the more precise you can be with looking at rents and all the different numbers with this one would determine whether or not it makes sense. But it's probably not the worst thing I've seen in Milton at this price point, but it requires obviously a lot more investigating. But that's whenever I see something like this, I always just kind of break out the calculations and go, how does it look? Just from a real bird's eye view, does it even make sense to start drilling down? And it might. Something like this could. Okay, thanks for watching. That's today's episode. And if you want to see anything in today's list, remember you got to jump on a couple of these pretty fast, especially the bungalow, the one on Fowles, and probably Fitzgerald as well. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.